All right, we're live. So I am joined today by Coach Alex.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Went outside, got to fly around my drone a little bit. So that was some fun. Yeah. Got it for Christmas, but I haven't really been able to fly too much.
Ooh, all right.
So yeah. Anyway, hope you're ready for some fence and stuff. Today, what you're gonna need, you're gonna want a sword, and I'm gonna be doing some stuff on how to hold and manipulate a sword with your hand. So because I'm doing saber, you're gonna want something with a straight grip. If you have a saber, awesome. If you have a French grip, foil, or épée, awesome. Pistol grips, I guess you could try, but I don't think it would work too well. If you don't have one of these, you can use a stick or even something like a pen. Just something straight that you can hold in your hand, similar to the way you would a sword. All right, but we won't do that right away. That'll come later. So I'll put that aside. Right now, we're just gonna get warmed up. So I've got a jump rope. If you've got a jump rope, you can get that out. If not, feel free to just like jog in place or something else, jumping jacks. You know, whatever you want. This is just to get our hearts beating, basically. It's not too important what you do. Just as long as you get moving. All right. Here we go. We'll just do this for a few minutes. One thing I noticed, allergy season is starting.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I notice it the most when I try to exercise, because suddenly I'm like, I can't be this out of shape, can I?
Well, turns out it's just the trees and the grass.
It is. That's all right. Whoops. Try to do the other foot. Let me try that again. There we go. Oh, that's tiring. I'm gonna do two. Getting towards the end, I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. Now the body's getting used to moving again. Oops. Went a little too fast. Oops, almost there. All right, and that should be good for now. Put your jump ropes away if you got them out. And we'll do a little dynamic stretching. So, good old open the gate, move your knee up and off to the side and back down. Try to keep your hips square when you do this. Rotating your knee through its full range of motion. I actually like to put my hands on my hips when I do this. Helps keep me from doing the twist. Because you really want to use that hip joint and all these muscles here in your hips That's what you want to warm up. So, forward and off to the side. Forward and off to the side. And try to get your knees up high as they'll go. You want to get, like I said, that full range of motion. All right, let's switch directions. So off to the side and into the middle. Off to the side and into the middle. Remember, just your knee sticks out. Your hips, they don't go anywhere. Okay, cool. Let's do one more thing that I really like to do. I call these airplanes. You put your hands off like this, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see a little better. You keep your upper body and leg in a line as you stand on one foot, and bend over slowly like this. See how I'm keeping my body and my leg lined up? Try to be parallel to the floor, and then slowly raise yourself back up. And then do it on the other leg. Slowly over. Try to make a straight line with your body and that leg that's trailing behind. And then back up. This is kind of a hamstring exercise, but for me at least, it's mostly a balance exercise. And balance is a good thing to have. Go. If you go slow, it forces you to control your body better. It builds more balance skills. There we go. Okay, looking good. Let's sit down, we'll do some stretching. So, sit down, put one leg off to the side, try to keep your knees straight. You're gonna reach out and reach towards your foot. Some of you might be flexible enough to grab your toe, that's awesome. Some of you might not, and that's okay too. Just reach out, keep that leg straight. We're not about impressing anybody here, we're about improving and building flexibility. So as long as you're getting a stretch, you're good. And I like to reach over with my other hand like this too when I do this stretch. So keep that leg straight, feel the stretch, and breathe slowly when you do this. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Just like that. All right, let's go over to the other leg. So this one goes in, this one goes out. Same deal, reach towards your foot, and then your other hand goes over the top like this. And breathe slowly. And when you breathe out, I want you to try and relax your muscles, especially this one right in here that's gonna feel really tight because you're stretching it. Right there was the relax. And when I relax, you find yourself stretching a little bit further each time. So try that a couple of times and see how far you can get yourself to go. You might actually surprise yourself with how flexible you actually are when you get your muscles to relax and stop fighting you. Okay, that's pretty good on that one. Let's do both legs off to the side, and we're gonna reach down the middle. Both legs at once. same deal. Slow breaths, try to relax with each breath. See if you can stretch yourself a little bit further each time. Okay, and push yourself back up. We're gonna do one more sitting down, and that is where you put your feet together like this. And you're gonna put your hands on your ankles. Don't put them on your toes. People who grab their toes tend to twist their feet. It's not good for them. Put your hands on your ankles. And pull your ankles in towards your hips as far as you can, and then try to put your knees on the floor as well. And then some of you who are really flexible might need to lean forward as well in order to get a really good stretch out of this, but you should be feeling it right in here. So, feet, pull them into your hips, and then push your knees close down to the floor. All right, that's pretty good. Let's stand up. And shake our legs out a little bit. All right, and we're gonna bend over, bend at the hips, and I like to let my upper body just kind of go loose and flop, and let the weight of my head and shoulders pull my body down. This is a hamstring stretch. You wanna feel it right back here in your legs. All right, and slowly raise yourself back up. All right, let's do the IT band. So you're gonna cross one leg behind the other, and whichever leg is the front one, you're gonna turn off to that side. So my right leg is in front, I'm gonna turn to my right side, which is this way. If you're having trouble, just act like you're a mirror, or act like I am a mirror and just mirror me. So standing like this, one leg behind, and bend over to the side. And try to keep your shoulders kind of up like this. You don't want to bend forward like that. It doesn't quite stretch you as well as being good and sideways. So if you find yourself trying to bend over, look up at the ceiling. And that keeps you oriented in the right way. And then you can put your hands together if you want a little bit more stretch even. All right, and slowly up. All right, and feet the other way. So crossing the other leg behind, and you're gonna lean to the opposite side. There we go. All right, and cool. Let's get down on the floor for one more stretch. So I'm going to lie flat, stomach on the floor, and I'm gonna push my shoulders up, leaving my hips on the ground, like this. Feel that stretch in your abdomen. If you push high enough, you might be able to get a stretch in your hip flexors too. I don't know. Some people have told me they can do it, and some people say they don't get anything. So I guess it depends on your body. All right, and then last one. You're gonna slide your hips back like this. I like to end on this one because this is a really chill out pose. Yeah. Put your head down and take a few minutes, or take a few seconds to relax. We won't be here for minutes. I think people might fall asleep. Can we do that? All right. Hope everybody's feeling pretty good after that. Nice and loose, relaxed. All right, let's stand up and start with some footwork. So we're gonna start from a tension position on today. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna kick your leg out and land in a lunge. Then recover, back to a tension. So feet together, you're gonna swing your leg out and let the weight of your leg pull you forward. So swing out, and I'm not trying to lean back and balance myself. I'm just letting my weight, letting my body, my leg pull me forward. What you don't wanna do is this. Because that's putting your weight backwards. And when you do a lunge, which is what we're practicing, you'll want to be moving forward, because the point of a lunge, get yourself over there so you can hit them. If you are starting by pulling your weight back, you're gonna have a slow telegraphed lunge because it takes time to get your weight going forward again. So move forward right away. Kick out and land in a lunge. And back up and kick out, land in a lunge. Out. And by the way, when you land, keep your body upright. You don't want to lean like this or like that. You want to be balanced. Makes it easier to move that way. So kick out, landing balanced, out, and balanced. All right. Cool. All right, let's switch to a regular on guard. So, feet shoulder width apart, your foot on your dominant side. So right hand if you're right-handed, left if you're left-handed. That's gonna stick off at a 90-degree angle, and you're gonna bend your knees and you're gonna squat. All right, now we're gonna do kind of like what we did before, but since we're not standing, you're gonna have to push with this leg a little bit. So, pushing with this leg and kicking with a front leg just like we did before. Kick out, land in a lunge, and stay there. Make sure you're balanced. Make sure your knee is above your ankle. You don't want it going over like that. If it does do that, it means you didn't stick your foot out far enough when you did your kick. All right. I wanted to work on recoveries a little bit. So from here, you're gonna bend this back knee, and you're gonna leave your front foot on the ground. You lift it up a little bit because doing that's hard. All right, and push yourself forward back into a lunge. There we go. Slide yourself back and forward, just like this. And if you can find something to look at, like something on the wall in front of you, look at that. And what I want you to focus on is whether or not it's going up and down or not. Because if you're focusing on something stationary, like a spot on the wall, and it goes up and down, that means you're going up and down. Or it means there's an earthquake, but that's unlikely in this state. So you want it to not go up and down because you want to stay level. Recovering from a lunge is a direct backwards motion. Any up and down just slows you down. All right, slide back, slide forward, slide back, and forward. This should be a really smooth action. 2, and back, and forward. All right, now we've done this a couple of times. You're gonna pull with that back leg, bend that back knee, and this time you're gonna lift up your front foot. So lift, and you're backing in on guard. Make sure your knees are bent, make sure your weight is even on both feet. All right, let's do it again. Kick out, make sure your knee is above your ankle, and slide your hips back, staying level, slide them forward, and recover. Make sure you're nice and low to the ground. Kick out, slide your hips back, and forward, and recover. Nice. Kick out, slide back, and forward, and recover. And kick out, and slide back, forward, and recover. All right. Let's see. Let's take the slide out there. Let's do a little more natural lunge. So kick out, recover. Your recover should feel just like the slide back, so this should be an easy transition if you're doing it well. Kick out and recover. Kick out and recover. Kick out, recover. Out, recover. Nice. All right. I realized I was moving forward each time I did that, so I'm going to go back to where I started and come on guard. And now let's switch to basic advances and retreats. So start with just one. Pick up your front toe. You're going to do this action from the ankle. Pick up your front toe. Move your hips forward just a little bit. So, oh. Yep, as soon as that front toe leaves the ground, you should be moving forward. And then once you're here, snap your back foot up. So it's right back where it was. So pick up the front toe, step and snap. And step and snap. If you aren't already doing this, try to lift your heels off the ground just a little bit. They don't have to be super high, just like enough that you could slide a sheet of paper underneath. That way you're not putting weight on them. That makes this part of the step, this a little easier. So pick up your toe, snap, step, snap, step, snap, step, snap. Make sure you're moving right away when you pick up that toe. All right, let's transition to retreats. So same deal, but in reverse. You're gonna pick up this toe, like that, and then snap this leg up. So step, snap, step, snap, step, snap, step, snap. Nice, let's do some advances again. So step forward, snap, step out, snap, step out, snap. And backwards, step, snap. All right. Let's do sets of 2 now. So, step, snap, step, snap. Try to make it as smooth as you can. Step, step. So from the waist up, no one should be able to tell you took 2 steps. It should look like you just slid forward. So step, 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 step. All right, and backwards, step, step. Something I didn't mention earlier, make sure you're taking small steps. If you've been around fencing for a while, that should be natural for you to do, but a lot of beginners like to take, well really, they like to take a walking stride, which is a good 2-3 feet. And actually don't want to do that in fencing. We're fine adjusting the distance. So we're only taking 3 or 4 inch steps at the most. So I would discourage you from staring at your feet, as people tend to if they do that, but glancing down intermittently to see what you're doing, that's okay. I won't throw you off too much. So, small steps, see that? A couple inches. And even on retreats. And make sure you're keeping your knees bent. All right, let's do threes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try to keep these as smooth as you can. And try to keep them small. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And forward again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And back. I have to remember to do fewer reps because I cover more space because I take more steps. 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right, let's get some swords out. So, I've got a saber, because this is what I'm familiar with. As I said at the beginning, try to get something with a straight or straightish grip. If you've got a saber, perfect. If you've got a French grip on a foil or épée, that works too. Pistols, you might have a little trouble. Alternatively, if you've got like a stick or a ruler, that works fine too. I'm gonna start with a pen, just to show you. So, saber grip, if you're not already familiar, you take your thumb and forefinger and you put them on the grip of the saber like this. All right? You should theoretically be able to do all of your saber actions with just these two fingers. Might not be the most effective, but you should be able to do at least a passable version of everything. I'm going to take my other fingers and I'm going to wrap them around like this. I am not gripping it like it's a bat. I am holding it like a wine glass and then using just the tips of my fingers to hold the saber. So just the ends like that. And you kind of got to learn to curl just the first couple of knuckles. But like all things in fencing, you get used to it after a while. So here we go. So put your hand in an on guard position, and because it's saber, your blade is going to be sticking up. Not straight up, you'll actually want it out a little bit at an angle. This makes your parries more effective because it causes your opponent's blade to deflect if you hit at an angle rather than straight up. That's a little more detail than you need right now. But remember, hold it in your fingertips. That's the most important thing. So, we're going to reach out, and to cut in saber, all you have to do is squeeze with these three fingers here. Squeeze like that, and that does the cut. Here, let me actually get an actual saber. It's a little bit more dramatic when you have an actual blade attached. So, here we go. Here's the grip. I'm going to grab it with my two fingers. I'm going to reach around with just the three other fingertips, not the whole hand. I'm not holding it in my palm, I'm just holding it in my fingers. So, on guard, reach out, and then using these three fingers, I'm going to squeeze. As you can see, just that action alone does that saber cut. All right, so let's go on guard. Remember, the point goes up. It doesn't have to be straight up. In fact, I would discourage it, but more up than it is forward. We're going to reach out, and then we're going to squeeze. All right, and relax, and go back to on guard. Reach out, and squeeze. And on guard, reach out, and squeeze. On guard, reach out, squeeze, drop that point down. Reach out, Some of you really advanced people can do this all in one motion, like that. But for now, reach out, squeeze, just one action at a time. And make sure when you reset to on guard that you're holding with the tips of your fingers, like so, and not staying here. So, yes, not so good. All right, so now, the other cuts in Saber. I'll show you this from the front first. You want to turn, this will be flank, assuming you're fencing a right-handed fencer. So, I'm going to turn using just my wrist. So, and for now I'm just going to go back. We'll get to the actual cut a little bit later. Right now I want to practice this motion and take a look at my elbow. Points down. I'm only turning my wrist. So if you take a look at your elbow and maybe even hold it in place with your other hand, but you don't want it to move, because what your instinct is going to be, if you've never done this before, is to do that. And that's big and it's telegraphed, and somebody who's really good will probably hit you right there, because that's targeted in the Saber. So keep your hand like this so it's protected. It's also a much smaller, harder to see motion. And smaller is also faster, which is another perk. So, down and up. And focus on keeping the grip in just your fingertips and turning from the wrist so that your elbow doesn't poke out. Keep it down. All right, come on guard. From here, we're going to reach out and we're going to keep our hand really low. All right, you might feel like you're losing a little bit of distance. You aren't really, but what this does is it forces your opponent to have a really good low parry in order to parry you. If they're not, if they're kind of sloppy up here, you're going to go right underneath that sucker and hit them on the wrist. So, turn and then keep your hand low. You're going to reach out. Turn and reach out, and I forgot to mention, but squeeze, just like before. Squeeze the point. So turn, reach out, and squeeze. I'm going to do this sideways so you can see. Turn, reach out, squeeze. So if you check it out, my hand stays at the same level through this whole motion. Now it's not going to feel like it's staying at the same level. If you're doing it right, it's actually going to feel like you're reaching down, like this. You kind of have to drop your shoulder a little bit to get the motion to work without losing too much distance. So if it feels like you're actually reaching down lower than you were, you're probably actually doing it just right. So turn, elbow points down, reach out, and if I were to bend my elbow, it still bends down. All right, let's go over to the other side. Same deal, but the other way. So this will be hitting the belly, assuming you're fencing a right-handed person. You're going to turn from the wrist. You're going to drop your point the other direction. Elbow still stays down. You don't want to swing out like that, because that is big and slow and telegraphed. You want it small, like this. And then you're going to reach out, keep your hand low, and you're going to squeeze with your last three fingers to do that cut. So, on guard, turn, my elbow hasn't moved, it's still pointing down. I'm going to reach out, keeping my hand low, squeeze for the cut. Turn, reach out, squeeze. Turn, reach out, squeeze. Turn, reach out, squeeze. Nice. do it a little bit faster. Well, not faster, smoother, that's the word I want. And see if you can do it all in one motion. It's okay if you haven't, especially if Saber is not your main weapon. I don't expect you to be perfect on this the first day. Nice. All right. So now we'll work on a little bit more realistic situation. So, put yourself in a good on guard. I won't have you do any footwork for this, but you'd still practice being in an on guard. It's good. Well, it's just good for you. Good for your fitness, good for your muscle memory. So, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my guard in kind of a neutral position, and I'm gonna open a line. So, if I open this line, you're gonna turn, and you're gonna cut. So, I'm doing a mirror of what you guys should be doing. Make sure, whether you're right or left-handed, your point goes the opposite way as my sword does. So if my sword goes this way, your point should go that way. And cut me right here. So here we go. Like that. And remember, keep your cuts low. I'm not here to show you where your points are landing, but you'll want them to land right about here on me. If I were there, right at the bottom of target. So if I panic and like this, I go over. All right. Ooh. Yep, and back to on guard. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go the other way. So it's going to look like this. And you're going to turn your blade and cut. Actually, if I'm being a mirror, I should be left-handed because most people are right-handed. So the cut, if I do this, your cut's going to be that guy. And if I do this, your cut's going to be this one. Yeah, let's do it like this. So here we go. Oh. Yep, right there. On guard. Right here. On guard. There we go. Make sure you're going back to a good on guard each time. Your elbow should be relaxed, pointing down. Your fingers should be just the tips, gripping the sword. All right, here we go. Nice. On guard. Yeah, looking good. I see a lot of beginner fencers like to just swing. They don't really look where their opponent's blade is. So we're going to practice seeing where my blade goes and going the other way so that you hit the open spot. There we go. Looking good. By the way, if you are familiar with this move, feel free to, put a lunge in this. Make it a little more realistic. Make sure you have space to do a lunge and cut too without knocking anything over. Nice. Alright, looking good. Alright, that'll be it for now. So, until we can see you again in person, we will see you here on the internet. Stay safe, stay hydrated.